शुरू करूं पूछ बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम I am Dr. Shamshad I am pulmonologist. We are going to discuss very important topic of medicine and pulmonology, that is pneumonia. ये मूव करता है या ये करेगा? ये वाला. Yeah. So we will start with the name of God. The topic of discussion is pneumonia. What is pneumonia? It is the inflammation of the lung parenchyma. When it is caused by the microorganism, then it is pneumonia. If it is caused by certain chemicals, radiation or allergic elements, then it is called pneumonitis. So there is a difference between pneumonia and pneumonitis. Both are inflammation of the lung parenchyma. But if it is caused by the microorganism, then it is pneumonia. Otherwise, it is pneumonitis. I think it should be clear to you. It is one of the most commonest infection which we clinicians sees. It is the sixth leading cause of death in UK. It is the sixth leading cause of death. So important disease. Up to 40% of adults in UK required hospital admission. Total cases of pneumonia, 40% are admitted in UK for hospital admission for treatment of pneumonia. 5 to 10% they go into the ICU, intensive care units. Cases are more common during the winter season. And the most common pathogen we have seen is Streptococcus pneumoniae is the most common cause. Most of the cases, there is a preceding history of viral infection. First person gets flu-like symptoms, running nose or postnasal drip, and ultimately then develops inflammation of the lung parenchyma, that is pneumonia. So how we classify the pneumonia? There are different classification of pneumonia. One classification is anatomical classification. Second is radiological classification. Third is community-based classification. First of all, I will tell you anatomical basis of the pneumonic classification. If one lobe is involved, it is called lobar pneumonia. One segment, bronchopulmonary segment is inflamed, is got infection, it is called segmental pneumonia. And there are multiple lobes involved, multilobar pneumonia or bronchopneumonia. Clinical side, primary and secondary type of pneumonia. Primary, if the underlying lung is healthy and the patient develops pneumonia, that is called primary pneumonia. Secondary, underlying lung is already diseased. For example, patient has got COPD. He develops pneumonia, it is called secondary pneumonia. Now, another classification is according to the pathogenic causative organism. If bacteria causes pneumonia, then it is called bacterial pneumonia. If viruses causes pneumonia, then it is viral pneumonia. If fungus, like that is fungal pneumonia, or parasite cause parasitic pneumonia. Another classification is according to the setting of the patient, from where the patient is coming. If patient coming from the community, it is called CAP, that is community-acquired pneumonia. If patient is admitted in the hospital due to any other reason, and during his admission, he develops pneumonia, then it is called hospital-acquired pneumonia. Patient is on ventilator, and after mechanical ventilation, patient develops pneumonia, then it is called ventilator-associated pneumonia or VAP. Sorry. Another category is called HCAP, that is healthcare associated pneumonia. If patient is coming from the daycare centers, from the old homes, or patient in the hospital frequently attending OPDs due to any other reason, for example, for diabetic foot, he is coming for dressing, and this patient gets pneumonia, then it is called HCAP. that is healthcare associated pneumonia. So the different classification of pneumonia, etiological or anatomical and according to the setting. What are the precipitating factors of the pneumonia? Viral infections are the most common precipitating factor. Patient gets viral infections of the upper respiratory tract, then develops the pneumonia. Upper respiratory tract ends up to the vocal cords. From there, nasopharynx, oropharynx, and vocal cord. Up till that, there is upper respiratory tract. Patient get infection of the viral infection, then he's got, and ultimately there is bacterial infection. Patient get pneumonia. Patient is hospitalized due to any other reason from the hospital, different bugs attack, and patient develops pneumonia that is called hospital-acquired pneumonia. Cigarette smoking is also causative agent of pneumonia. Why cigarette smoking? Cigarette smoking reduces the mucociliary action. That the normally you know from the your anatomy knowledge that the ciliary movement in the respiratory tract, this is anti-gravity movements and then bring the secretion towards the throat where we swallow or we spit. In the smokers, this anti-gravity movement is reduced. Excessive alcohol intake. Conscious level is impaired, patient is more chances to get aspiration of the secretion and develop pneumonia. When there is a bronchial obstruction, for example, there is a tumor in the bronchus, the draining area of that bronchus is obstructed, then secretion collects, there the bacteria comes and patient develops pneumonia. Immunosuppressive. Patient who has got immunosuppressive medication, for example, kidney transplant patient, lung transplant patient, they have got more chances to get pneumonia. IV drug users. These addicts, they share their needles and from their infections travels from the blood and goes to the lung, and these addicts gets the pneumonia. How the infection from one person to another person spreads, how the pneumonia develops, routes of infection. Most important is the droplet infection. When some pneumonic patient having got the infection of the lower respiratory tract, he coughs, then he brings out the micro, microbial agents, and anybody who is in that atmosphere, he inhales that, he can get due to inhalation of these droplets, these infections goes to the a healthy person's lung. Aspiration, upper GIT, upper respiratory tract, and there is gastric aspiration. Patient vomit and some vomitus goes into the lung. Bloodborne, if there is some infection in the distant part of the body, from there infecting organism enter the blood and they travel to the lung and the lung is infected. Colonization, certain bacteria, for example Pseudomonas, they become colonized in the lung. They are not eradicated with antibiotics, but when their number increases, patient develops pneumonia. When the antibiotics, its total amount subsides and the pneumonia improves. So colonization, bloodborne, aspiration, and inhalation. Inhalation is the most common, and aspiration is the second common. Third is the bloodborne, and fourth is the colonization. So pneumonia develops. What is community-acquired pneumonia? That is CAP. If pneumonia develops, patient comes from the community, or he develops pneumonia within 48 hours after admission to the hospital. Before 48 hours, if patient comes and he develops pneumonia, we will label it as community-acquired pneumonia. Or patient has already pneumonia, he comes to the hospital, that is community-acquired pneumonia. So it must be clear. What are the bacteriological, pathological agents of the community-acquired pneumonia? Streptococcus pneumoniae is the most common cause. Haemophilus influenzae, Mycoplasma pneumonia, Moraxella catarrhalis, Legionella, and Staphylococcus. I think in bacterial, you have read the bacteriology, and you must be familiar with these microorganisms. There are gram-positive and gram-negative. Some atypical organisms like chlamydia, viral pneumonias, and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. These also can cause pneumonias. So the most common bug is Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the figure taken from the certain Asian countries like Taiwan, Hong Kong, India, Singapore, Vietnam, and they have seen that 29% cases of community-acquired pneumonias are due to Streptococcus pneumoniae, 15% due to Klebsiella, Pseudomonas 6.7%, Staphylococcus aureus, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Moraxella catarrhalis 3.1%, Mycoplasma pneumonia, this is another cause. So here you can see that the most important cause is the Streptococcus pneumonia. So what is the definition of the hospital-acquired pneumonia? This is another variety of pneumonia. Pneumonia develops after 48 hours of hospitalization. Patient is admitted to the hospital due to any other reasons, and he develops pneumonia that is called hospital-acquired pneumonia, but he develops 48 hours after the admission. Maybe after 72 hours, maybe after 3 days, 4 days after admission to the hospital due to any other reason. He develops pneumonia, it is called hospital-acquired pneumonia. And what are the common bacteriological pathogens in the hospital-acquired pneumonia? These are the gram-negative bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Klebsiella pneumonia. You see that why this difference is created between community-acquired and hospital-acquired? Because in community-acquired, the most common bug was Streptococcus pneumoniae, while in the hospital-acquired, gram-negative infections are more common in the hospital-acquired pneumonia, and the most common Staph aureus, Pseudomonas, and Klebsiella. So, clinical features. Clinical features varies according to the stage, pathological stage of the pneumonia the patient present to the healthcare facility. It correlates with the pathological state. So you know from the pathology that the first stage is stage of red hepatization, then there is a gray hepatization, then resolution stage comes. When patient comes in the stage of congestion, red hepatization, then there is chest pain, fever, I will tell you. And if he develops comes to the healthcare facility in the stage of resolution, then most common presentation is productive cough. So in pneumonia, there are general symptoms. And what are the general symptoms of pneumonia? This is the number one is the fever, most common. Patient is toxic, he has got high grade fever, 39 to 40 degrees centigrade. Usually present with fever with chills and dry guts. This is the very common presentation. Then there is headache, pain all over the body and in the limbs. Next complaint is vomiting. Another is confusion and deterioration in elderly persons. So the general symptom, the most common symptom is fever. What type of fever? It is high grade fever. And it is accompanied with chills and dry guts. Patient also present with headache, generalized pain. Patient also may present with vomiting, fever, vomiting, headache, and confusional states, particularly in the old age. A patient develops pneumonia, they are usually present in confusion or disoriented state. What are the pulmonary symptoms? Most important symptom is cough. If the patient comes in the stage of congestion, red hepatization, gray hepatization, cough is dry. But when there is a stage of resolution and patient present to the healthcare facility, at that time he will present with rusty colored sputum or sometimes blood stained sputum. There is dyspnea also, shortness of breath. What is dyspnea? Dyspnea is the shortness of breath. What is dyspnea? Dyspnea is the awareness of breathing. This is the chest symptom. What is the pleural symptom? Pleuritic chest pain. What is pleuritic chest pain? How we can differentiate from other type of pain? This pain is aggravated by coughing and deep breathing. When patient coughs or he takes deep breath, he hold the breath. You can see in the diagram, patient is holding his chest because of the pain. It is due to pleuritis. Why it is pleuritis? Pleuritis is inflammation of the pleura. In underlying lung, there is pneumonic consolidation. Overlying pleura is inflamed and the patient gets cough or deep breathing. There is pain. What other general symptom? If you look at the patient appears ill, his vital signs, pulse will be rapid, maybe more than 100. Respiration rate is also high. He has shallow, rapid breathing. Patient has got high-grade fever, flushed, dry skin. He may have got herpes labialis. 1 to 2 days after the pneumonia, patient gets viral infections of the lips. Patient may have cyanosis, patient may have confusion. So I summarize. In general, when you look at the the patient have got increased pulse rate, respiration rate is more than 20, 25, maybe 30. High grade fever, flushed skin, herpes labialis, patient may be cyanosed or sometime confused. Within 24-hour patient present, there is a decreased respiratory movement. It is decreased, but in the first 24-hour, respiration movement is decreased. It is why there is pleuritis. In pleuritis, patient has slight impairment of percussion node, pleural rub on the affected area. Patient usually hold his breath due to pleuritis. And if you percuss the area, percussion node is dull. And pleural rub is on auscultation. Pleural rub is the scratchy sounds that produce when inflamed pleura, parietal and visceral pleura rub, there is a scratchy sound. On the second to third day, there are signs of consolidation. Reduced movement on the infected side, increased vocal phragmitis, percussion nodes are dull, increased vocal resonance, there may be bronchial breathing. It is a hollow type of breathing. Absent breath sounds may be seen if there is accompanying pleural effusion. So when you examine the patient, reduced movement of the affected side, on the pneumonic side, vocal phragmitis is increased, percussion is dull, vocal resonance is increased, bronchial breathing is also present on auscultation. You must know, you read what type of normal breathing is vesicular breathing. But here you will see the bronchial breathing. It is hollow in character. Inspiration and expiration both are equal. There is a pause. If patient present in the stage of resolution, symptomatic improvement starts second to third day when resolution begins. Then on auscultation, there will be the coarse crepitation heard at the site of inflammation, at the site of pneumonia. Most of the signs disappear by the end of the second week. So I will summarize again. Pulmonary signs, general symptoms, fever, shortness of breath, vomiting, or impaired consciousness. On examination of the patient is again confused. He has got dehydration, high-grade fever, increased pulse rate, respiration rate is also very much increased. When patient comes in the stage of resolution, there is coarse crepitation and productive cough. No, the patient has come, you have seen the patient, you suspect his case of pneumonia, now you want to investigate. What type of investigation you are going to do in these cases? First of all, blood examination. WBC count, TLC, we send the CBC, complete blood count. WBC count will be more than 15,000, then more than 90% will be polys. ESR elevated, CRP elevated, but mostly CRP is elevated, ESR is increased in very late. CRP, you can send the sputum for gram staining, sputum for culture and sensitivity to see that what type of bacteria is there in the of the infecting organism and what medication it is sensitive. We can send blood cultures if patient is confused and he has got increased and you suspect that he has CO2 retainer and you want to send the patient to intensive care, then ABG's arterial blood gases is performed. Second most important investigation that we are going to do is X-ray chest. What it is going to help and it is going to help to confirm the site and extent of the disease. What lobe is involved, what is the site, and what is the extent of the disease. It helps. What radiological finding we can see on the X-ray chest, maybe consolidation, a patch, a dent, or air broncho may be present there. There may be pleural effusion, there may be collapse consolidation, or there may be cavitating pneumonia. Certain microorganisms cause pneumonia and that cavitates very rapidly, like Streptococcus pneumoniae. Radiological changes lag behind the clinical course. It means that patient becomes all right after the 1 or 2 weeks of antibiotic. His symptoms are totally clear, but if you do X-ray, repeat X-ray, then radiologically there is also still present consolidation or radiological finding is there. It is usually clear after 4 weeks of infection. So we say that radiological findings lag behind the clinical course. Patient should not worry, but usually 6 week X-ray is clear. If it doesn't clear up to the 8 weeks, we call it delayed resolution. And if 12 weeks it is not clear after the pneumonic attack, it is unresolved pneumonia. Then we have to see the causes of delayed resolution and we have to investigate these patients. But usually within 4 weeks, radiology is clear. X-ray test usually returns to normal within 4 to 6 weeks. This is the one of the X-ray picture of the pneumonia. You can see upper lobe, upper radiological zone, and there is a big consolidation, non-homogeneous opacity involving the right upper and the mid radiological zone. It is above the fissure, so it is the upper lobe pneumonia. Right lower lobe pneumonia. It is involving, there is a homogeneous, non-homogeneous opacity involving the mid and the lower radiological zone. It is more denser towards the center as compared to the periphery. These are the radiological presentation of pneumonia. Another is a bronchopneumonia. You see patchy involvement in the both lung. Okay, patient most probably in the ICU because you can see the leads, wires impression there on the X-ray. There is a bilateral involvement, mid and the lower radiological zone, more right. It is a case of bronchopneumonia. What other investigation we can do in cases of pneumonia is the serological test, antigens, antibodies, cold agglutination test, pleural fluid if there is present, we can aspirate and send. Cold agglutination is usually present in cases of mycoplasma pneumonia, PCR, bronchoalveolar lavage, and lung biopsies. PCR, bronchoalveolar lavage, lung biopsy, these are usually done in cases of unresolved pneumonia. Staphylococcus pneumonia, history of preceding influenza or viral-like illness may appear as a cavity cyst on the X-ray chest, may present with pneumothorax, effusion, empyema, septicemia develop with metastatic abscesses in the septicemia develops with metastatic abscess in the other organ. Fulminating pneumonia can lead to the death. This is another staphylococcal pneumonia X-ray picture. There is air fluid level. There is a cavity filled with air fluid. And what is Klebsiella pneumonia? This is usually involved the upper lobe. Patient occurs in the elderly people. Onset is sudden, very severe symptom. Sputum is purulent, gelatinous, and blood-stained. This is also called current jelly sputum. पेशेंट के मुंह से तारें सी निकलती हैं और वो बलगम फंसा हुआ होता है. Right upper lobe, dense consolidation, sagging sign. There is so much fluid in this accumulate in the lung that the fissure जो है under pressure आ जाता है. इसके कहते हैं sagging sign. And Klebsiella pneumonia also cavitate. So X-ray के ऊपर right upper zone पे और sagging sign and with cavitation में भी. Here you see a big cavity, but in this case the cavity is in the right lower radiological zone. Now, what is the differential diagnosis of acute exacerbation of chronic bronchitis? Chronic bronchitis can also present fever, productive cough. Pulmonary tuberculosis also present fever, cough, mostly productive, pleuritic chest pain, shortness of breath, but the history will not be acute. It will be the chronic case. History goes back to the 1 month, 2 months like this. Bronchiectasis also present with infective exacerbation like fever, productive cough. Here again, history will tell you the patient has got childhood infection and every 2-3 months he develops such type of symptoms. And usually most of the patient knows that they are bronchiectatic. Lung cancer can also present, but when there is obstruction in the draining area of the obstruction in the bronchus, tumor in the bronchus, it obstructs the bronchus, and the draining area, there is accumulation of the secretions, and there is superhead infection by the microorganism. Patient develop pneumonia. Congestive cardiac failure also present just like pneumonia. How we assess the severity of pneumonia? Why it is important to assess the severity of pneumonia? It is done in the OPD because we have to dispose of the patient. And there is some scoring system which is called CRB65 or CURB65. What meant by C? CRB65 is usually applied on the OPDs, and CURB65 is employed in cases of admitted cases. C mean confusion, mental score of 8 or less. Then patient will get score 1. If on mini mental scale, we ask simple question, where you are lying at this time, what is the time, it is morning, evening, and name of your country. If out of 10, his score is only 8, then patient is confused and we give 1 score. If his urea is more than 7 millimole, that तो इसको भी एक स्कोर मिलेगा. रेस्पिरेशन रेट पेशेंट का 30 है या मोर देन 30, then he will get 1 score. If blood pressure, B for blood pressure, if systolic blood pressure is less than 90 millimeter mercury, or diastolic blood pressure less than 60 millimeter mercury, then we will give 1 score. If patient's age is 65 or more than that, he will get 1 score. So why this scoring is important? It will help us to dispose of these patients. Either we will give OPD treatment, indoor treatment, or ICU treatment. Another system is called PSI, Pneumonia Severity Index, but usually we apply curve scoring. Mortality depends upon the curve scoring. Very low score, less than 3, score is 0, then mortality is less than 3. So patient is not confused. Patient is not, blood pressure is good. Respiration rate is not 30, less than 30. So patient age is not 65, score is 0. So we can treat these patient on OPD basis. We can write the prescription and ask the patient to use that, his pneumonia will be covered. Why he is not admitted? Because mortality in these cases is less than 3%. And it is called low severity pneumonia. Moderate severity pneumonia, if the score is 1 or 2, there is 9% mortality in these cases. These are referred to the hospital and assessment. They may get admission in the hospital. High severity pneumonia, if score is 3 or more than 3, they must be admitted. They must be referred from by the GP to the hospital, because here the mortality rate is very high. 15 to 40% cases who has got curve score more than 3 or more than 3, they 15 to 40% die. So they need hospital admission. So this is the benefit of curve scoring. 0, if you do CURB, 0 to 1 is the low severity, 2 is moderate severity, 3 moderate severity, 4 to 5 high severity. It must be managed in the ICU, moderate severity, short hospital stay, or supervised OPD treatment. 0 to 1 low severity can be treated at home. If patient has got significant comorbidity, for example, patient is leukopenic, patient is immunocompressant, he is on immunosuppressant, he has got diabetes, he has got hypertension or ischemic heart disease. These patients must be admitted even curve score is 0 or 1, they needs admission. Significant comorbidity, if patient has got, and second, this is the comorbidities. And if the patient has got leukopenia, TLC count less than 5,000 or 4,000, these cases with pneumonia must be admitted. Suppurative complication, patient has got some other complications like wound or something else in the other part of the body and he develops pneumonia, these must be admitted. And in the last, failure of outpatient management. Patient is, initially the curve scoring was less and patient was on OPD treatment and he is not responding to our management, so this patient needs admission. And what treatment you are going to give? First is the general treatment. For painkiller, for pain, pleuritic pain, give NSAID or narcotic analgesics. If patient is cyanotic, aspiration rate is very high, we can give, and patient is hypoxic, we can give oxygen. If patient is dehydrated, he has got vomiting, we can give fluids, and electrolyte imbalance, we try to correct the electrolyte imbalance. In dry cough, we give cough suppressant and chest physiotherapy in productive cough so patient can spit out the sputum. What is antimicrobial therapy? After diagnosis, CBC, X-ray chest, and some serological tests, we confirm the diagnosis, did the curve scoring, and and we have disposed of the patient. We have segregated OPD patients, medical ward admission, ICU admission patient. Then we start microbial therapy immediate after the diagnosis. Appropriate specimen should be obtained. Delay in specimen collection. What type of specimen? Sputum for pyogenic culture and sensitivity. Delay in specimen collection must not hamper the therapy. Decision regarding hospitalization is very important, and this depends on the CARB scoring. Now we want to give antibiotics. We have to decide. We have to give oral antibiotics or intravenous antibiotics, and what should be the duration? Non-severe, uncomplicated, we can give oral antibiotics, and duration is usually 7 days. In severe microbiologically undefined, 10 days of treatment. Legionella, Staphylococcus infection, gram-negative pneumonia, duration of treatment is 2 to 3 weeks. So, what type of antibiotics you can give? Amoxicillin, doxycycline, macrolide. In macrolide, clarithromycin, azithromycin, and erythromycin. Cephalosporin can be given, third generation cephalosporin. Fluoroquinolones, these are also called respiratory quinolones. Levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, and gatifloxacin. These are the drugs which can be used in cases of pneumonia. For low severity cases, community-acquired pneumonia, where severity is low, that is CURB score is 0 to 1, amoxicillin is preferred. Doxycycline or clarithromycin, that is Clarisid, is an alternative choice. Those with features of moderate or high severity infection should be referred urgently to the hospital. Should GPs give antibiotic prior to the hospital referral? In life-threatening situation, antibiotic should be started in the community. While patient present to the GP, he should start the antibiotic and refer this patient who has got higher CURB scoring. He should start antibiotic immediately. And penicillin G, 1.2 gram IV, or amoxicillin 1 gram orally. These are the preferred agents in hospital with moderate to severe pneumonia. Oral amoxicillin, macrolides, monotherapy with macrolide who has failed to respond to an adequate courses of amoxicillin prior to admission. Combination of therapy, combination of antibiotics, macrolides and amoxicillin preferred in this situation. Oral levofloxacin and oral moxifloxacin are the alternative. In moderate to severe pneumonia, monotherapy or combination therapy, or we can give them respiratory quinolones. When oral therapy is contraindicated and patient has got vomiting, he cannot tolerate the drugs, then parenteral, amoxicillin, benzyl penicillin or clarithromycin combination is given. When intolerant to penicillin, he is sensitive to penicillin or macrolide, then IV levofloxacin or moxifloxacin or third or generation cephalosporins are given to these patients. In patient with high severity pneumonia, parenteral beta-lactamase stable antibiotics, coamoxiclav plus clarithromycin, second or third generation cephalosporin can be given. But this is the community acquired pneumonia. Severity, CURB score 0 to 1, mortality less than 3%. First choice is amoxicillin. Alternative is doxycycline or clarithromycin. This is for low severity. Now I am summarizing this treatment. Low severity, first choice is amoxicillin. Alternative is doxycycline or clarithromycin. Moderate severity, CURB score 2, 9% mortality is there. Amoxicillin plus clarithromycin, combination of treatment. Or patient can be given levo or moxifloxacin. Alternative is levo or moxi. And very high severity pneumonia, that is CURB score 3 to 4. 9% mortality, 9 to 15% mortality. Coamoxiclav plus clarithromycin / levofloxacin, or benzyl penicillin plus levofloxacin, or cefotaxime ceftriaxone, or clarithromycin / levofloxacin. What are the complications of pneumonia? If patient is not treated, then pneumonia can be complicated. There are local complication and distant complication. What is the local complication? Delayed pneumonia, delayed resolution pneumonia, non-resolved pneumonia, patient doesn't clear after the 12 weeks of infection, suppurative or abscess formation local, fibrosis, bronchiectasis, pleural, pleuritis, pleural effusion, empyema, pneumothorax, and pyonemothorax. What are the distinct complications? Cardiovascular system involvement, CNS involvement, blood, mycoplasma causes agglutination and there is anemia, and skin manifestation is also there. So there is pulmonary complication, there are pleural complication and extra pulmonary complication. How we can prevent pneumonia? It is very important that pneumonia should be prevented. And to whom needs prevention, there are 2 types of vaccines available. Injection Nemo 23. This one shot is given and it is repeated after. It gives protection for 5 years. And second is injection Prevnar 13. If this is given, it is repeated after 10 years. To whom we can give pneumococcal vaccination? More than 5 years of, less than 5 years of age, or more than 65 years of age. These are the high risk patient, less than 5 years, children, and more than 65 years of age, adults and old age patients. Even diabetics, immunocompromised patient on immunosuppressive therapy. These So what is the benefit of this? इन्फेक्शन प्रोन डिजीज जिसमें एडल्ट हैं जो एज 65 और मोर, efficacy of this vaccination is more than 44%. And in immunocompetent elderly patients, not immune system is very much competent, then the efficacy of this vaccine is 60 to 80%. But pneumococcal pneumonia young healthy adults को अगर वैक्सीन दी जाए तो 70-80% जो है प्रोटेक्शन है इसमें. So you must know the complication of pneumonia. In complication of pneumonia, there are the local complications, there are pleural complications, there are extrapulmonary complications. So what is the, I can summarize, inflammation of the lung parenchyma is called pneumonia. Pneumonitis, it is caused by the microorganism. And if inflammation of the lung parenchyma is caused by some chemicals, some radiations, or some toxic agents, then it is called pneumonitis. Pneumonia is a very common disease. It is a very lethal disease in some cases. So severity can be assessed by CARP scoring. CARP scoring helps us. And how this patient present general symptom and specific pulmonary symptoms. General symptom में क्या होगा भाई? There will be fever, increased respiration rate, increased pulse rate, and in pulmonary symptom, cough may be dry, may be productive. High grade fever, blood pressure may be low, patient may be cyanotic, patient may be confused. सो कर्व स्कोरिंग से असेस करेंगे कि इसको क्या करना है, इसको कहाँ भेजना है, आउटडोर ट्रीट करना है या इसको एमरजेंसी में भेज के या दाखिल करना है पेशेंट को या आईसीयू में दाखिल करना है। तो उसके लिए कर्व स्कोरिंग है। CURB 65, सी कन्फ्यूजन, मिनी मेंटल स्केल से असेस करते हैं। यूरिया, उसका ब्लड सैंपल जाएगा, यूरिया देखेंगे, अगर उसका यूरिया मोर देन मिलीमोल से ज़्यादा है तो इसको नंबर 1 मिलेगा। हर एक को ये हर सी का, यू का, आर, बी इज ब्लड प्रेशर, सबका एक एक नंबर है। एज 65, इसका भी एक नंबर है। तो 0 to 1 इन कर्व स्कोरिंग, माइल्ड निमोनिया ओपीडी पर ट्रीट कर सकते हैं। 2 जिसका स्कोर होगा treated in the hospital or hospital supervised treatment. 3 and above, 3 it must be admitted in the HDU, and 4 and 5 these are patient will be intensive care. So this is the, and now what type of investigation we're going to do? Blood complete examination. There may be leukocytosis. The polys may be more than 90%. और CRP विल बी रेज्ड। एक्सरे कराएंगे, एक्सरे पे कंसोलिडेशन आ जाएगी, ठीक है। एयर ब्रोंकोग्राम हो सकता है, मे बी कैविटी हो सकती है। उसके बाद स्पुटम एग्जामिनेशन भेजेंगे इसका फॉर ग्राम स्टेनिंग के लिए, और इसके अलावा स्पुटम एग्जामिनेशन फॉर बायोजेनिक कल्चर एंड सेंसिटिविटी के लिए। दैट विल हेल्प अस टू डिफरेंशिएट between the different drugs, what drugs you given. Then the patient is treated. OPT most common drug which is used is amoxicillin, and indoor we low severity में हम amoxicillin है और ड्रग जो है क्लिथ्रोमाइसिन है। मॉडरेट सेवेरिटी में amoxicillin प्लस क्लिथ्रोमाइसिन, और अल्टरनेटिव या हम उसको लीवर दे सकते हैं और मॉक्सीफ्लोक्सिसिलिन देते हैं। हाई सेवेरिटी क्योंकि इसमें मोर्टेलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है, इनको आईसीयू में लेके जाना है, इनको वहाँ दाखिल करना है। तो मॉक्सीक्लेव ऑगमेंटन जिसे कहते हैं, ठीक है, के नाम से अवेलेबल है। क्लिथ्रोमाइसिन क्लैरिसिड के नाम से अवेलेबल है, या लीवोफ्लॉक्सिसिलिन ये दे सकते हैं, या अल्टरनेटिव ड्रग में सेफोटैक्सिन, सेफ्ट्रैक्सोन और लीवोफ्लॉक्सिसिलिन। So what are the complication of pneumonia? Local complication. Pulmonary complication है, pleural complication है, and extrapulmonary. How pneumonia can be prevented? There are different two type of vaccines are available. Nemo 23 or injection Prevnar 13. These are the what is the efficacy of these vaccine in immunocompetent patients? 60 to 80%, and in bacteremic pneumococcal pneumonia 70 to 80% efficacy is there. So I hope I will be able to, I have been able to convey the broad concept of pneumonia to you people. I will recommend that and the lecture of knowledge and read out pneumonia. This will help you. I will summarize it. I have tried to convey my my thoughts, my knowledge about pneumonia to you people, and you will strengthen, you will polish it, to go to the Davidson and open that book, the chapter of pneumonia, and read it. So things should be clear to you. Okay, thank you. If there is any question, you can ask me just now or later on.